What up? It's your boy Money Mark coming at you guys in another edition of Sneaker Saturdays. And what is good, my people? We are here another Saturday, and we are here. I'm not going to do the birds chirping because, you know, as we all know, we are stuck in the dead of winter. I mean, it's so cold now. It's cold in places where it's normally not cold. So, hey, man, I appreciate you guys rocking with me on another edition of Sneaker Saturdays. We in this piece, and we about to talk about some sneakers. In this edition, we about to get to drops. That's it. Now, honestly, some of these are actually a little ahead, so we may not even have necessarily advanced dates or whatever the case may be. But hey, bro, hey, we're here, and we're giving you guys new concepts, new things that are dropping. Honestly, I got my Nike joint on because this is gonna be a Nike edition as of right now, because this is who. I mean, Nike's already loading the deck for the new year, and I'm actually very excited. So I think we got to get into it. So let's go. All right, so jumping right into it, we, like I said, is going to be very Nike'd out edition of Sneaker Saturdays. And jumping right into it, we have to talk about two drops that are coming that are based off collabs, collaboration. Collaboration is the key. This should be like a thing that happens. But yeah, collaborations. Now, collaborations essentially has been the primary tactic that Nike has used to stay relevant and stay new. At this point, Nike's not necessarily putting out any brand new silhouettes. I mean, some of the brand new silhouettes, I mean, we do have the Zions. We did have the Greek Freaks as well. We've had a couple of other sneakers that have kind of come and had some pretty decent colorways and made some waves in the last couple of years. But primarily, Nike has been really winning with a lot of its classic silhouettes. And the reason why it's able to still win on this classic silhouettes is, of course, the word I just said 3 times just now, collaboration. Nike essentially has taken that Supreme model, and I mean, some would argue maybe Nike might, I think Supreme essentially, I took that model and took the collaborations and honestly stretched it out as far as possible. That collaboration model is the bread and butter that is essentially keeping Nike relevant. We've seen various amounts of collaborations with different entertainers, to different designers, to different companies as well. And these have kept these classic silhouettes still current and kept them new and kept them dope. And these two drops I'm about to talk about are no exception. What I'm about to talk about, what you should be talking about, is of course the concept collaboration with Nike AirMax, or the Nike AirMax1. Now this bad boy, just jumping into it, just taking a look. First and foremost right here, this is a material, not necessarily a material, but this is a pattern orgasm. You just got this thing jam-packed with patterns all over the place. First and foremost, let's just start with the denim. The denim that's kind of adorns inside of the toe box itself, giving it that contrast to the outside of the outer rim of that toe box as well, which is kind of has like this blue and greenish camo pattern, or almost like a Cali camo pattern, almost like a Hawaiian shirt kind of deal when it comes down to it, because it's not like necessarily a full camo. It doesn't have like all the swirls and twirls that a normal camo not necessarily have, like a hat here, but it does kind of give both kind of like that pattern. I would say more so like a Hawaiian pattern. You see that same pattern, of course, right under the back of the shoe as well, in the back part of it, on the back tab, or the back tab of the shoe itself, or right underneath the back tab, under the logo. But kind of moving up towards that, you see a dope kind of like a material, kind of like a material, like a cowhide-esque material that kind of connects it to where the mid part of it, where the laces are. And in that mid part, we have more denim on that bad boy as well. That Nike sign has a super dope, on the outside of it, has like a super dope kind of rainbow color pattern with kind of like a blackish or bluish outline. And then, of course, on the back tab, we have that yellow bandana, really more so an orange bandana Nike pattern that kind of swirls in towards the back. So it's more so like you have little Nike signs on that thing right on the back of it, and then it kind of has that bandana pattern towards the top. You have the logo smack dab in the middle of there, right there, and then you got that cool, like that Aztec-esque poncho kind of pattern that kind of comes from the top of that thing on the back, kind of just accenting it. And then inside on the sock lining, you have that desert brown on there. And that desert brown kind of goes on the tongue as well. And you have the matching laces as well, with, of course, a nice brown, desert brown on the bottom of that as well, giving it just those accents, because I mean, that's what we look for. We look for those accents. We look for those little tiny things. And you get a little nice little shoe tag on the side of it with a little, like, almost looks like a little guitar pick. At first I thought it was a heart, because this is dropping on April 1st, right? April 1st. But this shoe right here, man, right here, sick. And honestly, I only told you about I only just told you about the Nike sign on the outer side of the shoe. And inside of the shoe itself, we have this really dope Nike sign that kind of has this almost this hippie-esque floral pattern that kind of goes throughout the Nike sign as well. It's not a super big Nike sign on the AirMax1, but I love how they did that on that inner layer to kind of give you just kind of contrast, kind of keeping that what the flair with it. And you know, honestly, I'm a super big fan of the what the itself. And I love how it kind of just outlines, that flower kind of outlines on that Nike sign as well, just kind of giving it that accent. Obviously, this is a shoe that's going to stand out. We're looking at a retail price, if you get it, at $150. And like I said, it's dropping April 1st. Now, that's first on deck. Jumping right into the second on deck, it's more so kind of like a new, so it seems like there's a lot of other concept colorways that are coming out. Concept and Nike are definitely doing a lot of work together. And our boy, Dion Point, reveals a third concept sneaker that is set to drop. Now, this is kind of not necessarily a drop, because we don't know when this thing is dropping. This is essentially just came out of nowhere, honestly. This month, Dion Point dropped this sneaker on us, and now everyone's gawking and trying to figure out what's going on. This is actually going to be a first look. If you haven't seen it on Dion Point, you haven't seen it on sneaker news, you haven't seen it on Kicks on Fire, you're going to see it here. This third concept sneaker looks bananas. Now, it takes a lot of those same accents, those same kind of deserty hippie accents, but it just twists the colors a little bit. First, the primary difference you see on that is that instead of having that kind of camel on the toe box and kind of having it kind of like part in the middle of that mid panel and then putting a little bit on the back, it's just one solid green, as you can see here, one solid green canvas, canvas green line, kind of a line, not a lime green, but like a, I don't know how to describe that green. It's kind of like a slime green, but it's kind of like just a little bit more of a lighter, not a real lighter, but more of an even tone green on the bottom of that, with that dope star right there. They kept with that hide theme, so you got that nice cow hide, that brown cow hide coming up there to the middle panel where the laces are. We got this nice kind of maroon or magenta kind of looking laces on there. Almost kind of looks like a suede lace. I'm not sure if it's necessary suede. And then you have this blue canvas where the denim was on the first concepts we're talking about, but now we have this blue kind of canvas material right there that kind of replaces that. I personally like the denim on the other ones, in my personal opinion, but I'm digging these blue canvas, that blue construction kind of canvas look as well. And then we have a different color rainbow Nike sign. This one kind of transitions from a red to like a black and a green, almost the kind of like the African American flag colors. And then you got a black bandana, kind of wrapping around that toe, around that back tab, with that bandana patterns. The bandana patterns more present, it looks like, on this. And then, of course, the Nike logo on the back. And then we have a weird, funky pattern on the top that I'm not necessarily catching, because this is honestly a first look. So these are the only images that I've been able to find of this sneaker, essentially. This is kind of just dropped, and people have kind of gone crazy. So I'm assuming it's going to stay in that denim-y, not in that denim, but almost in that flannel-y, poncho-esque family, essentially, because this is more kind of like a groovy like a hippie desert kind of theme to it, almost like a cactusy. Like I'm getting a little real cactus vibes off this for whatever reason. I don't know, real Arizona-esque colorways. And then on the sock liner, matching with the sock, matching with the tongue, matching with those laces, we kind of have this burgundy crushed velvet look to the on the inside of the shoe as well. The bottom sole or the midsole is kind of just an even tone, like off gray, and then we have some speckles on the bottom of that and a black bottom sole. Looking at this thing right here, if you are into if you are into just patterns in general, if you are into just a pattern orgasm, I definitely think this is something that you gotta grab. I personally love rocking shoes like this with just even colors, essentially, because it really just accents the shoe itself. And you know, that's how I typically rock it. You know, I know there's some of you guys are gonna come out here and form some really super unique outfits when it comes down to this. So I mean, hey man, I can't wait to see some of the collaborations that I'm gonna see out here. This is definitely a sneaker that I definitely want to put my hands on. Right now, this is just a concept that has just dropped. As far as a first look, we don't have any initial dates on this. All the other sneaker blogs got their eyes on it, and you know, as soon as I find out, I'm gonna drop a video on it as well to give you guys the deets on when it drops. So definitely I'm gonna be on point when it comes to that as well. And yeah, definitely, this is definitely a shoe you gotta keep your eyes out for. This is definitely something that you need to go ahead and get your hands on for sure. Okay, so wrapping up, we are gonna switch gears. We talked about the two Nike concepts. We talked about the first looks of that third colorway of that Nike concept. We talked about the Nike concept that are dropping April 1st, April Fools. But we have to talk about Nike. We gotta talk about, this is more so like an alternate. It's like a different version of a shoe that we already saw. This right here is the Nike Dunk High GS Year of the Tigers. Now the Year of the Tigers essentially where I've talked about these, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago. The Year of the Tigers essentially are a kid shoe that are dropping. First and foremost, shouts out to Nike for giving us a dope kid shoe, essentially. Like, you know, kudos to you. You know, hand clap, round of applause. You know what I mean? Giving us a freaking kid shoe. But one of the things I looked at that shoe is that it was so dope that I wanted a pair of those. Now I'm not 100% sure that these Nike High GS Year of the Tigers are a kid shoe. Judging by the price point, I would say that they are. But just kind of diving into the look of it, these basically just look like a more amped up version of the low tops. Now looking at it, of course, we still have that off-white front half of that sneaker right there. We still have the yellow Nike sign right in that toe box the outline of the toe box essentially. You still got that super dope gum bottom that has the tiger print on the bottom sole of that sneaker, and we do have that classic white midsole on that sneaker as well. The middle panels, of course, still boast a black suede. Well, the middle panel, I say, and this sneaker boasts a black suede. I don't think the middle panel on the lows had a black suede on it. And then we have those kind of embossed, embroidered looks on the Nike sign and on the on kind of that back panel that kind of leads towards the laces as well. I always forget what these things essentially are called essentially, but on those we're kind of getting these Chinese kind of patterns essentially on it, kind of giving it that if you ever look at any like Chinese architecture, you can kind of see, or the old ancient Chinese architecture, sometimes you'd see these symbols essentially on there. I think that's what essentially supposed to represent. Of course, that back tab has that tiger, that embroidered tiger print kind of on the back of it as well, kind of giving it that gold look to it as well, kind of keeping up that ancient theme. And what makes this super unique is that this bad boy has the tongue actually folds down, right? So first you have of course the laces that kind of go up, and then you have the nice embroidered tongue, but the tongue has a nice little flap that folds over the laces with some nice embroidered patterns on that bad boy, giving it that Year of the Tiger look, just completing that accent altogether. Looking at that right then and there, that right there honestly kind of makes it look a little different. Now, when you're dealing with a high top dunk, sometimes with a high top dunk, it's kind of hard to necessarily show a lot of those accents, a lot of the accents on the top itself, because essentially, you know, most people, you know, depending on how you're rocking these, if you're rocking these with jeans, you know, 9 times out of 10, I mean, you're probably going to be cuffing them or putting them over that. You may not necessarily be able to see that. Sometimes these high tops can be a little weird to wear with shorts, essentially, but you know, nonetheless, I typically have always been a person who's kind of stayed away from the designs kind of being on the top, kind of by the tongue right area on those high tops. But I just think this kind of looks dope, and it just looks like a themed piece, right? Like some pieces, like for instance, the like I talked about last week, the origin stories, that's a themed piece. Like everything about that sneaker screams Spider-Man from start to finish. This right here screams Year of the Tiger. First and foremost, it just looks like a dope, like a just dope piece of just like almost like Chinese architecture. So it looks super dope. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of the material choices that they chose on this one, like this kind of off-white suede at the top of this shoe. Looks super dope. Not in the top of the shoe, but on the toe box looks super dope. And yeah, man, it's just a lot going on with it, but it still looks subtle at the same time. It definitely not loud like the Concepts. This is definitely one of those sneakers that is still a head turner, but it's kind of like a subtle head turner. Like, oh, what are those? I didn't know what those are. I think these are definitely a sneaker that you definitely should be on the lookout for. Price point on these bad boys is $100, and was looking to drop February 12th. I'm pretty sure this is definitely a kid shoe essentially, but I'll probably do some more digging and get back to you. I just saw these and wanted to toss these on here to talk to you guys about these. But yeah, definitely the GS Year of the Tigers, definitely a shoe that should be copped. Okay, and there you go. That's it, man. So yeah, the first drops that I covered of the year. We got it. But anyways, yeah, there you go. Now, just starting off, first and foremost, the first 2 drops really is just really one drop and like a first look. First of all, the collaboration. Let's start with that. The collaboration of Concepts and Nike AirMax and the Nike AirMax1. Super dope sneaker. Of course, I love denim. I love denim actually on shoes as well. I like it when it's done well. I mean, I think one of my favorite pairs of like denim-based shoes is the Wild West Nike AirMax 95. So this right here kind of gives me those same kind of vibes with the denim kind of in that middle panel and the denim kind of in that, with the middle panel and the denim on the toe box as well. And then of course those cool contrasting colorways on there on the Nike side, on the inner and the outer, and of course that cool back tab. Definitely has to be copped. And of course we have the first look on these Concepts, on the third colorway of these Concepts, and then we have like a more canvas colorway attached to them as well, kind of that constructive colorway in the blue. And then, you know, the Nike sign of course has a different pattern on that thing. I didn't see, they didn't show us an image of the Nike sign on the inner part of the shoe. I definitely would love to see that, but that shoe looks ridiculous. Those 2 shoes right there look like they should be definitely copped, definitely affordable as well. Hopefully they won't bot us to death on that like they're botting us on the dunks, but who knows. It is like I said last time, this is the environment that we are in. Lastly, closing up shop, we talk about the GS Year of the Tigers. Just a subtle but loud themed sneaker with super dope accents with embroidery and material and the nice little flap on there as well. Just a cool sneaker to bring in the new year. Definitely something to give to the kiddos to go to school and did it on them all year long. And with all those three sneakers are definitely, if I had to pick one, of course I would pick the Concepts. I picked the Concepts only because A, we know that they're coming out. B, we know the price point, and I honestly think that the denim in those kind of make it stick out a little bit more than that third colorway that Dion Point released. Those or like dropped. Those look dope. I think those are more of a toned down version. I think those probably go a little bit more. I personally like the more loud braggadocious first ones that we covered. The first colorways that we covered dropping April 1st. So if I would have to suggest anybody get any shoe, I would say get those. And yeah, man, that's 3 sneakers right there for you guys. It's your boy Money Mark coming at you with another edition of Sneakers Saturdays. Guys, continue to support the channel. We gonna continue to hit you over the head with new material, and I appreciate you guys supporting me. Peace.